So how does this fight end? Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Luis Gutierrez, Republican Congressman Devin Nunes, and CNN's chief congressional correspondent, Dana Bash. Congressman Gutierrez and Congressman Nunes, thanks so much for being here. Dana, you, of course, as well. Mr. Gutierrez, how can Americans who want health insurance, who need health insurance, trust what the president is saying, given all the rollout problems that there have been? We were initially told that those were the problems of just too many people trying to log on. Obviously, the problems were much deeper than that.
Sure.
How can they take at face value, okay, everything now is okay?
Well, the fact is that people are enrolling like never before. 1 million people visited the site yesterday. It didn't crash. It's working. People are signing up. I went on, as I shared with you earlier today. I've signed up. I've got to pick a plan. I'll do that by Monday, as required by the law.
Was that the first time you tried?
Yes, it was the first time I tried. Now, I just tried. Now, it's the D.C. It's not the federal. It's the D.C. plan. In my state of Illinois, we're going out and we're advertising and we're telling people, and people are signing up. Lots of people have signed up for the Medicaid portion of it, and about 6 out of 10 of those that don't have health care are going to get a subsidy, and they're going to sign up, and they're going to be much better. Look, I understand that the rollout was less than perfect. That's not what we do as legislators. That's the executive branch of government. They should have done a much better job, and they should have checked it out. But now that we're here, just because the computer didn't work, we're not going to stop prenatal care. We're not going to stop immunization. And you know something? My 25-year-old daughter, who's at LSU, hi, Jessica, shout out to you, she's got health care. They dropped her when she reached the age of 22. So, you know, look, it's working for a lot of people, and there's lots to be done.
Congressman Nunes, I'm sure you have a response to that.
Well, look, Luis and I, we agree on a lot of things, but this is not one of them. I just don't think fundamentally that this plan is going to work. If we just go back and we look, we have a $100 trillion deficit in both Medicare and Medicaid. This was before Obamacare. What does Obamacare do? It took money from Medicare, which is already broke, and then added a bunch of new people to Medicaid, just as Luis said. So now we have more people going on to Medicaid. The states have to pick up those costs, and the states, like my state of California and Illinois, they're both broke already.
The states have to pick up 10% of the costs in a few years of Medicaid.
Yep.
I mean, the federal government is paying most of it.
Up front.
Right.
Which is, you know, part of the reason why the administration now has delayed the enrollment, or they say they expanded the enrollment till after the 2014 elections, because next year people are going to pay much higher prices than what they're paying this year. So I just think long term, look, we submitted a plan. The president talks about a plan that he's open to plans. We submitted a plan. Myself, Paul Ryan, Senator Burr, Senator Coburn, we introduced a bill before Obamacare was introduced, and he never even responded to that.
Jake, one of the things I think is pretty cool about this booking is, I'm not just saying this, you are two of the most candid people on Capitol Hill, and that says a lot because there are a lot of candid people up there. So let's just assume, for the sake of argument, that what you say is true and that you're going to keep believing that what you believe. But you're also a practical politician. You know in your heart of hearts that nothing is going to change until the president, or as long as the president is in office, right?
Well, look, I take the president at his word. The president says we have good ideas. We sent him a letter 4 years ago. That deal's still there. If he'd like to take, we could take our plan, let people sign up for the Republican plan, let people sign up for his plan.
But it's called Obamacare, for better or worse. You know, the White House is now going back and forth about whether or not that was a great idea to call it that, but it is. It's not going to change it unless the bottom really falls out.
But here's the problem, though. He can't go on national television today and say, send me your plan. Well, we sent him a plan 4 years ago and then say he's not going to accept our plan.
And in fact, he did. Let's play that sound, because he did issue a challenge to Republicans today. Let's play that.
I've always said I will work with anybody to implement and improve this law effectively. You got good ideas? Bring them to me. Let's go. But we're not repealing it as long as I'm president.
Okay, so you presented a different health care proposal 4 years ago. Do you have a proposal to improve the law that exists right now?
Well, it's a totally different concept. So if the president wanted to take us up on, if he'd take us up on our offer, I'm not saying that, I'm just speaking totally out of turn here, but if they want to take our bill and endorse it and pass it, you would basically have two separate health care plans out there. You'd have Obamacare, and you'd have this free market approach that I'd like to try, and many Republicans would like to try.
It is a free market approach. I went on the website. There were a dozen different plans. that were there. I tried to pick one as close to the one that the federal government has provided me. And I just want to state that, you know, members of Congress, all 435 of us, we have the same health care that the IRS agent has, the guy at Social Security, the force. We have the
federal
same
exchange. You can go on and you can pick your plan.
No, what I'm trying to say, for the last 21 years, I have been afforded quality health care, government-sponsored health care. $450 a month I paid. That's been my contribution. I pay the same contribution that any other federal employee. And all I'm trying to say is that if we are in the federal government and we're legislators, shouldn't we give the same opportunity to everyone else that we provide and serve?
But surely you acknowledge that there are issues with this plan beyond the website, right?
Absolutely. I do not think that you can have a plan such as this without making changes to that. Look, I think we should examine it. I think we should take ideas. I don't have any specific ideas that I brought here tonight, but I think as the American people come forward, as we begin to look at it, look, it's not about not changing it. We're not going to eliminate it. It is the law of the land. And it's Obamacare, it's the law of the land. But let's just look at something. Come on, guys. Almost 50 million people had no health care, indigent, emergency care. People were dying because they didn't have access to health care. We're changing that radically in America. And that kind of radical change is going to have, by the nature of how huge it is, some glitches. Let's fix those, and let's have an alternative. I'd love, Devin, to hear Devin's plan. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a chance to discuss them. But I think, can I just say one other thing? That's part of the problem, as you guys very well know. Nobody wants to talk to anybody. Everybody wants the best position, and everybody wants the political position so they can use it in the next election. I think I can admit that nothing that we did.
You guys are going to meet tomorrow and sit down and talk and exchange ideas?
Devin and I talk all the time. And can I just say something? We have a wonderful, cordial relationship, and too many times, and that might hurt him back home. You know, and all of a sudden his opponents say, well, he's a friend of Luis. But isn't that a shame that in Washington, D.C., you have to be careful to say something kind about a Republican colleague?
Do you think you two theoretically could draft a health care bill, a separate health care bill that could get through the Republican House and the Democrat-controlled Senate?
Look, unless the president embraced our plan, it doesn't matter what Luis and I agree on.
Okay, but theoretically.
But we had a plan and continue to have a plan that covers every American. It just does it in a different way. What they try to do, what the Democrats try to do with Obamacare is they try to nationalize. They basically tried to create a Medicare for all approach. And that is fundamentally flawed approach because Medicare and Medicaid today are $100 trillion.
But at the same time, we did go out to the private side. I mean, I'm not going to join a government-sponsored health care Monday. I'm going to be with Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm going to have a private-sponsored plan.
You've gone on the website. Are you going to pay more or less than you're paying now?
As a member of Congress and my salary, I'm going to pay more when I gain access to that. I should have the same health care that we had as every other federal employee. But look, here's one of the things that I understand about this. I talked again to my daughter today, and I said, babes, you're going to be on the health care plan. You might want to go on there and see what LSU offers you. And we want to, as a family, we might want to do this. I think those are decisions that everybody's going to be making. And then she said, sure, Dad, you're going to pay a little more because you make a lot more than a lot of other people in America make. She's absolutely right.
Congressman Nunes, I want to give you the last word.
Well, I just say this. This is the reality. Just today I received a letter from a big employer in my district, 3,000 employees. He gives 100% coverage for not only those 3,000 employees, but 3,500 dependents. No deductible, nothing. All those people, January 1st, are going to lose their plan. That's the reality that I have to live in. Now I'm going to have 6,500 people in my district with no health care. And now they're going to try to go onto the Cover California website, and they're going to basically then be on Medicaid, which the doctors in my area already don't want to see Medicaid patients. So this is the ongoing problem that I think is going to occur. There's going to be more and more Americans losing their health care. And I just think it was unnecessary, and I hope the president actually does want to work with us.
We appreciate the candid conversation. Dana Bash, Congressman Nunes, Congressman Gutierrez, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.